Dear Chosen One, there is a moment, a rare, sacred moment, when your soul stops asking for permission to exist. And that moment is now. You've just activated boss mode, and no force on this earth, no scheme from the shadows, no voice of doubt can stop what has already been set in motion. Do you feel it? That quiet shift inside, that surge of clarity washing over everything you once feared? You are no longer asking. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer negotiating your light. And that is why they can't stop you now, because your power no longer comes with conditions. The spiritual war that tried to silence you has failed. And today, I need you to hear this truth. You are the reason they're terrified. Chosen One, listen closely. This is not just another phase in your life. This is the turning point that generations of your ancestors longed for. This is the unlocking of a destiny that no enemy can reverse. And if you click away now, you will miss what heaven is trying to confirm to your spirit at this exact moment. What I'm about to reveal will expose the traps you didn't see, the chains you didn't know you were wearing, and the silent agreements you were tricked into making. You've broken them, but now you must understand how to walk forward in this new authority. They couldn't stop you before, and now their last weapon, your own doubt, has fallen. Stay with me, because this video is going to show you what it means to walk in boss mode without fear, without apology, without hesitation. You'll see how they tried to paralyze you with guilt, how they whispered lies to keep you small, how they designed their traps to make you question your mission. But no more. Before this video ends, I will give you the keys to recognize their tactics, to protect your crown, and to step fully into your true self. If you feel this truth already resonating deep within your soul, write in the comments, "I claim my true power." Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the revelations that follow are not just words. They are the armor your spirit has been waiting for. Chosen One, you spent so long trapped in invisible cycles that made you question yourself at every turn. These cycles weren't loud. They didn't announce themselves with destruction or chaos. No, they were subtle, silent, creeping into your spirit through moments of hesitation, through small doubts that you thought were harmless, through the quiet voice that asked, "Am I allowed to shine? Am I allowed to rise?" Every time you waited for someone else to say yes, every time you paused your own mission to avoid making others uncomfortable, you built another link in the chain that held you down. And now, you're seeing it clearly. Those chains were never real. They were illusions, fed by fear and sustained by your own permission. The moment you stopped granting permission to fear, to doubt, to guilt, those chains snapped. That's what boss mode really is. It's not about becoming louder. It's about realizing you were never truly bound at all. For most of your journey, the voices that kept you small weren't just coming from the outside. Yes, there were people who spoke against you, who tried to dim your light, who tried to remind you of every flaw, every failure. But more dangerous than any of those voices was the one that echoed inside your own mind. That voice that told you to shrink, to wait, to stay invisible a little longer. That voice wasn't born in you. It was planted. Planted by wounds you didn't deserve, by betrayals that were never your fault, by the spiritual attacks that shaped you to believe that your power was dangerous, or worse, selfish. But now, that voice is losing its grip. It trembles as your true self rises, because boss mode means no longer negotiating with that voice. It means recognizing that any voice that tells you to hide your light is not of God. And here is what the enemy never wanted you to understand. Chosen One, that your chains were made of lies. They weren't forged in truth. They weren't built by your mistakes. They weren't set in place by the hand of God. No, they were woven from shame that was never yours to carry, from guilt designed to weaken you, from fears handed to you by people who could never handle your light. Those chains were placed around your mind, around your heart, around your purpose, and yet they were only as strong as your belief in them. The moment you see them for what they are, illusions, smoke, shadows, they dissolve. That's what has happened now. Boss mode is you seeing clearly for the first time. No one ever had the power to stop you except the version of you that doubted. Every time you tried to step forward in the past, those chains pulled at you. Every time you felt your spirit surge with purpose, you hesitated. You heard that inner whisper, the one that said, "Not yet. Be careful. Don't make them uncomfortable. Don't go too far." And you listened because you believed it was wisdom. You believed it was love. But now you see it was fear, wearing the mask of caution. And fear has no authority over a soul that is aligned with God. You stayed small to protect others' comfort, to keep peace that was false, to hold together relationships that were never truly for you. But your soul grew tired of waiting, of shrinking, of pretending. Boss mode is when your spirit says, "No more. No more asking. No more waiting." Now you move because God said so, and that is enough. You began to feel it before you could name it. That inner shift, the quiet knowing that you were done playing small. It didn't come with fanfare, with noise, with a loud declaration. It came in those moments when you chose truth over approval, when you said no to what drained you, when you turned away from the familiar patterns that kept you bound. It came in the silence of your heart, when you realized that peace matters more than pleasing anyone. And in those moments, your boss mode was awakening. Heaven was showing you, gently but firmly, you have permission. You always did. The permission didn't come from them. It came from the God who sent you. And now, you're listening. As this boss mode awakens fully in you, everything looks different. What once confused you now feels clear. What once intimidated you now feels small in the light of your purpose. The traps, the games, the manipulations that used to pull at your spirit, you see through them now. You don't need to fight every battle because you see which ones are distractions. You don't need to defend your light because your light speaks for itself. This clarity isn't pride, it's alignment. And when you're aligned, you move with an authority that no enemy can counterfeit, no darkness can imitate, and no lie can penetrate. The fog is lifting, chosen one, and what's left is your truth, unstoppable, unshakable. The boss mode you feel rising inside you didn't come from any human validation, any title, or any achievement. It was always there, waiting beneath layers of fear, of doubt, of false humility that made you believe you had to shrink to be holy. But true holiness isn't small. True purpose doesn't hide. And now that you've stepped into it, now that you've claimed it, no force can take it from you. This is why they can't stop you, because you no longer give them the power to. When your authority comes from God, it is sealed. No lie can corrupt it. No attack can touch it. And from this moment forward, every step you take is in alignment with the purpose that heaven wrote over your life before you were even born. You've probably noticed, chosen one, that the moment you began stepping into this boss mode, the resistance around you intensified. It wasn't your imagination. The forces, seen and unseen, that once felt comfortable keeping you small, began to feel threatened. People you thought were for you started to show their true colors. Relationships that seemed steady began to shake. And spiritually, the pressure increased. The enemy doesn't waste energy on what isn't rising. But now, your light is rising so strongly that every force that fed off your hesitation is scrambling, trying to figure out how to stop what God has already set in motion. They're throwing every last tactic at you because they know their time to control your story has ended. And it's not just in the physical, is it? You've felt it in your spirit. Those attacks have taken new forms. Restless nights, confusing thoughts, unexpected betrayals, sudden waves of sadness that seem to come from nowhere. But this time, something is different. The tactics don't work like they used to. The confusion doesn't stick. The betrayal doesn't break you. The sadness doesn't drown you. That's because Boss Mode has activated a new layer of spiritual protection over you. It's not that the attacks have stopped. It's that they can't reach the core of you anymore. The part of you that was once vulnerable to their tricks is sealed now. Sealed by clarity, by alignment, by truth. They can't stop you now because the last weapon they had, your own self-doubt, has been disarmed. When you hesitated, they had room to maneuver. When you questioned your worth, they had a crack to slip through. When you paused your purpose to please people, they celebrated in the shadows. But now they watch in frustration as you move without needing their approval. Now they see that their games no longer distract you, that their traps no longer entice you, that their lies no longer confuse you. And that, chosen one, is why they fear you more now than ever before. Because they have no more power over you. Look at how the dynamic has shifted. Where once you sought validation, now you walk with quiet confidence. Where once you questioned your every move, now you move with purpose. And this isn't because you became arrogant. It's because you became aligned. Alignment brings peace, and peace terrifies those who thrive on chaos. You are no longer reactive. You are no longer a puppet in someone else's game. You are no longer giving energy to battles that were designed only to drain you. That is the essence of Boss Mode. Not louder, not prouder, just anchored, certain, unshakable. And those who once tried to control you, to manipulate you, to keep you small, they don't know what to do with this version of you. The version that no longer explains itself, that no longer apologizes for existing, that no longer fits into the boxes they built. You've outgrown their plans, and they can feel it. They can feel the distance that your growth created, and it scares them. Not because you've become dangerous, but because you've become untouchable. And the truth is, they never had control, only the illusion of it. Boss Mode is you waking up to that truth and living like it. But Chosen One, understand this. Their strategies won't stop altogether. They'll try to adjust. They'll look for new angles. They'll try to disguise old tactics in new forms. But you'll see it now. You'll feel it before it even reaches you. That's the gift of alignment. Your discernment is sharper. Your spirit is alert. And because you no longer play their game, they can't win. The rules they lived by no longer apply to you. Because you're playing at a higher level now. One where their tricks fall flat, their traps stay empty, their lies echo in the void. They've lost their access to you, and they know it. And in this place of Boss Mode, you begin to feel something you might not have felt in a long time. Peace. Not the fragile peace that depends on others' approval. Not the conditional peace that comes from everything going right, but the deep, unwavering peace that comes from knowing who you are, whose you are, and why you're here. It's the peace that lets you rest, even when the storm rages outside, because the storm can't touch what God has sealed inside. This is your new foundation, Chosen One. And from this place, you will build, you will lead, you will rise, and nothing, no one, can stop you now. What you're stepping into now, Chosen One, is not just a new season. It's a new identity. The Boss Mode you've activated is not a mask you wear for a moment of strength. It's the unveiling of who you always were, beneath the layers of fear, shame, and compromise. You see it now, don't you? That the version of yourself that hesitated, that shrank, that doubted, was never truly you. It was a version shaped by wounds, by expectations, by manipulations that never had the right to define you. And now that the layers have fallen, what's left is the pure divine authority God placed within you from the start. That's what terrifies those who tried to stop you. because they never fought the real you. And now that you've shown up, they have no defense. This is where the greatest revelation of all comes, and it changes everything. Boss mode isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you were before the world tried to break you. Before the heartbreaks that made you question your worth. Before the betrayals that made you question your purpose. Before the failures that made you question your strength. It's about reclaiming the purity of your mission, the clarity that was always in your spirit, waiting for you to stop looking for permission and start living as if heaven already said yes, because heaven did say yes. And boss mode is you finally hearing it, finally believing it, finally walking in it without apology. And as you step fully into this truth, everything hidden starts to come into the light. The people who smiled at you while secretly hoping you'd fail, their masks slip. The relationships that thrived on your uncertainty, they begin to crumble. The plans that were made in the dark to keep you bound, they collapse under the weight of your clarity. And all of this happens not because you fight harder, but because you stand firmer. That's what boss mode does. It doesn't make you loud, it makes you immovable. The storms come, but you don't bend. The attacks fly, but they don't land. The traps are set, but you walk right past them. And they can't understand how, because they don't realize that alignment with God is the greatest shield of all. In this place of authority, you start to see the world through new eyes. The confusion that once clouded your path is gone. The fog of doubt that made decisions so hard to make has lifted. The voices that once pulled at you from every direction have faded into silence. What's left is the voice of God, clear, steady, true. And as you listen, you find yourself making choices that once felt impossible, saying no to what drains you, saying yes to what grows you, stepping away from what was never meant for you, stepping boldly toward what was always yours. This is the walk of the chosen in boss mode. Not reckless, but deliberate. Not angry, but focused. Not seeking validation, but living in purpose. But understand this, when you activate boss mode, you don't stop the enemy from trying. You simply make their efforts useless. The enemy will try to reshape old tactics, to present new distractions, to disguise the same lies in a different form. But now your discernment is sharper. Your spirit recognizes what your eyes might miss. Your peace becomes your alarm system. The moment it's disturbed, you know something's off. And because you no longer hesitate to act on that knowing, the enemy loses every foothold. This is why they can't stop you now. Because you act in alignment with truth faster than they can weave their deception. And it's in this alignment that you feel something unexpected. Compassion for those who once tried to stop you. Not pity, not weakness, but compassion born from clarity. Because you see now that they were never truly in control. They were lost in their own fear, their own confusion, their own battles they never confessed. And while they tried to cage you, they were the ones imprisoned by their own darkness. You're free now, and that freedom gives you a new kind of strength. The strength to move forward without bitterness, without the need for revenge, without looking back. Because boss mode doesn't need to prove anything. It just moves, and the world adjusts. So let the world adjust. Let those who doubted you watch in silence. Let those who tried to stop you realize that what they fought against was never you. It was the light you carried. And that light isn't just burning brighter, it's untouchable now. Boss mode is the point where your purpose is no longer negotiable. Your mission is no longer delayed. Your power is no longer hidden. And from this place, chosen one, you don't just walk forward. You build, you lead, you create. And you do it all with the quiet, unstoppable force of someone who finally understands. Nothing and no one can stop what God has ordained. Boss mode is not the end of your journey. Chosen one, It is the beginning of your true reign. This is the place where you finally stop circling the same battles. Stop entertaining the same distractions. Stop revisiting the same doubts that kept you stuck. It is here, in this place of spiritual authority, that you begin to build what you were always meant to build. Not from a place of reaction, not from a place of proving yourself, but from a place of divine alignment that no longer seeks permission. You are no longer asking, "Can I rise?" You are rising. You are no longer wondering, "Is this my time?" This is your time. You no longer wait for the world to say yes, because heaven already did. And now, you move as one who knows it. From this place, chosen one, leadership takes on a new meaning. It's no longer about titles, recognition, or applause. Boss Mode teaches you that real leadership is quiet, steady, unshakable. It is seen in your decisions, in your discipline, in the way you protect your peace at all costs. It's seen in the way you no longer argue with those who don't understand your mission, in the way you no longer explain your every step to those who never truly wanted to see you rise. Your authority is no longer up for debate, and those who once tried to pull you into their chaos find that their words fall empty now, because you no longer give your energy to what doesn't serve the purpose God placed in you. And as you walk in this new authority, something shifts not just in you, but around you. Cycles that held your family captive for generations begin to break because you no longer participate in them. Patterns that felt inescapable start to fall apart because you no longer feed them. The heaviness that once sat on your shoulders begins to lift because you no longer agree to carry what was never yours. This is the silent power of Boss Mode. It disrupts darkness simply by existing. You don't have to fight every battle with words. Your alignment speaks louder than any argument ever could. And the more you walk in this truth, the more untouchable your purpose becomes. But Boss Mode also requires something sacred from you: responsibility. The world will watch you. Some will admire, some will resent, some will try to follow, and some will try to pull you back into who you used to be. But you will know, deeply, unshakably, that your assignment is not to fit into their expectations. Your assignment is to walk in truth so boldly that it becomes a light for those who are ready to see, and a boundary against those who are not. You don't lead to impress. You lead to serve, to heal, to build what reflects heaven on earth. And that kind of leadership, the leadership of the chosen, cannot be stopped because it is powered by love, by integrity, by God's hand. There will be moments, chosen one, when your old self tries to whisper again, when the old doubts try to creep in, when you feel the pull to shrink, to explain, to soften your truth for the comfort of others. But in those moments, remember, Boss Mode is not arrogance, it is obedience. It is the refusal to betray the mission God gave you just to ease someone else's discomfort. It is the commitment to honor the purpose you were born for, no matter who understands it. And in choosing that, you break not only your own chains, but the chains of those watching you, those who need your example to believe they can rise too. And as you continue walking in Boss Mode, your spirit will find rest in a way it never has before. Not because the challenges stop, not because the attacks disappear, but because you no longer see them as threats. You see them as distractions, and distractions hold no power over a focused soul. You stop fighting battles that don't matter. You stop chasing validation that doesn't satisfy. You stop entertaining doubts that don't deserve your energy. And in that stillness, in that clarity, you find strength. The kind of strength that doesn't need to shout, doesn't need to prove, doesn't need to convince. The kind of strength that simply is undeniable, unshakable, unstoppable. Boss Mode, chosen one, makes no noise. It manifests itself in confident silence, unshakable peace, and absolute focus on purpose. Your strength now needs no validation, applause, or approval from anyone who once doubted your worth. Your very presence in alignment with God is proof enough. It is in your calm that the enemy is lost, because your light does not argue with the darkness. It simply shines, and the darkness retreats. What once seemed essential falls away. False friendships, empty opportunities, illusions. And this space that opens up is not empty. It is sacred ground, ready for what is truly yours. In this new territory, you realize that the greatest battles have always been internal. The fear that made you shrink, the doubt that distorted your worth, the guilt that silenced your truth. Now, in boss mode, the enemy no longer has a way to enter, because you have closed the gaps with truth and established your spirit in peace. You have become a fortress, untouchable by the storm, because your foundation is now divine purpose. Silence has become your weapon, and your clarity disarms the old manipulations. You no longer need to explain yourself. Simply stand firm in your yes and your no, protecting what is sacred for the love of the calling you carry. Your victories have changed shape. They are no longer about proving something to someone, but about keeping the peace, saying no to what drains and yes to what nourishes. Victory now is waking up in peace, knowing that you walk in God's plan without guilt, without delay, without compromise. This joy, coming from alignment and not from circumstances, will be your strength, a steady joy that sustains in the midst of uncertainty and reminds you why you began this journey. This is the gift of boss mode: power, clarity, and a joy that the world cannot steal. And as you walk in it, the world can only watch as you rise. And so, chosen one, I invite you now to declare this truth over your life. Write in the comments, "I walk in unstoppable purpose." Let your words agree with what your spirit already knows. If this message is speaking to you, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications, because what comes next will build on this foundation, taking you deeper into the truth of who you are. I want to thank every soul who has supported this mission through Buy Me a Coffee. Your generosity is not only keeping this message alive, but also helping it expand. If you also feel the call to support this movement, the link is right there, in the pinned comment. Now, before you go, watch the next video that is on your screen right now, or binge watch the playlist. Feed your spirit until there is no room for doubt. The prophecy is alive. The prophecy is you. See you later, and may God bless you.